Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Are you looking to get your medical marijuana card? Well, help is just a call away. Do you need medicine, medical marijuana now in the short term? And are you looking to get a grower or to get growing yourself in the long term? Oh, but hey, it sounds like we have a caller already. Welcome to Mercy TV Live. Thanks for calling.
Hi, this is Lorraine Dick. I wanted to give you an update on David. And we sent a Christmas card photo that we just took last week to you. And he's looking pretty good. His head's still healing, and we'd like to continue treating the scalp. He had melanoma on the scalp. We've been sending pictures documented of the sore that won't heal. And it looked pretty disgusting, and every week treating with hemp oil, it seems to be improving and improving and improving. In the latest photo, it looks pretty good. We went to the primary care doctor last week, and her not knowing the diagnosis from the oncologist and neurosurgeon, the melanoma, she knows he has melanoma in the lung and in the brain. He had the brain tumor. But she told him to get Head and Shoulders for cradle cap. So we were kind of amazed, and we had to explain that melanoma, the sores wouldn't heal. And it was pretty amazing. He still, they had an MRI, excuse me, I'm a little nervous on the phone, and they found no regrowth of the tumor, and they also found no new tumors in the brain, but they did find the lung tumor is a third larger. So we're going to continue with alternative treatment using hemp internally and externally, and a few other herbal remedies such as Ethioc tea, and we'll either beat the cancer or we'll ease the way out peacefully when it's his time. And we just, cannot thank you enough for walking through our journey with us. Hope to meet you, and no matter what happens, whenever everything is resolved or we continue and David's up to it, we're hoping that we can help in helping further the cause. And we just are so very, very grateful.
Well, thanks for calling in, and thanks very much for sharing your testimony. Other people out there going through the same will now be more encouraged, I think, to try the same therapy.
Yes, and we're from the state of Nevada, and the laws are changing in April, but it seems like there are doctors that you can find in the grapevine, but none of them are really wanting to come out in the public with anything. So it's very difficult. Nothing is legal, and hopefully that will change.
Yeah, well, hopefully, indeed. It certainly will happen through the efforts of folks like yourself. So good luck with all that, and thanks very much for calling in and sharing that with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, that's wonderful. And that was a process where they were using the canna oil, where the cannabis is used with some food grade, food-based extract like olive oil in this case. And it's basically put in the oil. It's left there for some 30 days. It's shaken or agitated on a regular basis, but that's pretty much the process. And then you have this oil which is applied, in this case, to melanoma or skin cancer with some fantastic positive results. We hope that we can get some cannabis to them vaporized or otherwise being able to inhale or otherwise try to affect that, the rest of the cancerous stuff happening in their body there. We'll certainly keep tabs on it and network with them as we can, and hope and pray that good fortune is able to get to them as well as the medical cannabis. Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of things that we're doing. People in the hospital today are there because they're sick, they're having issues, and nobody's telling them about cannabis. I'm sorry nobody's told you about cannabis, but believe me, there's a hope. And that's what you have.
So, yeah, keep up the good word. Giving the word out. We're getting contact from people in the hospital. We know some nurses are turning the TV to us on channels. That was a nice little gesture. We're getting some newsletters. Folks are getting the Mercy newsletter as well as the Cannabis Connection, picking it up there and handing them out when they can. So the word is getting out there, and we thanks the people that are helping to do that.
Well, if you need something, give us a call. We're open Monday through Friday, 12 to 6. And if you need some paper, you need some information, you need somebody that you know needs some help, come by. Patients are there, everybody's a volunteer, and everybody's looking to help people like the lady that just called. And that's all we're doing, is educating people and helping them through these bad conditions, like all the cancers, like all the seizures, like all the your glaucomas and your MS, and you know what, there's a long list. The child, we're getting calls about the children now almost every day about, what about the children? Yeah, what about the children? It's always been, what about the children? But the children are getting the most benefit, but they're trying to look at their parents like they're doing something wrong. And
Hey,
we know.
We have a caller?
We have a caller who's too shy to get on, but she wanted me to ask you a question, whether or not people who are in federal housing can get the card.
Oh, well,
You can get the card. The thing is this, we've had others in the past that have gotten their card and everything was fine, but every year they come around and they have you fill out forms and all this stuff, and the people we know filled out the form and they put yes that they were a cannabis holder. So when that got showed in their reports at their caseworker, they came back and said, you're going to get kicked out if you don't give up your card.
Right.
So they had to give up their card immediately. So they lost their card because they wanted to keep their housing. And I mean, the best thing we could tell you is you got to lie. You got to say you're not a card holder.
Right, unfortunately.
And that ain't cool. But you know what? There's something needs to be done for the people that are on federal housing. This is ridiculous. We're trying to help people. How can we help people, help others, help each other when things like this are going on? I mean, talk about one more issue at the federal government level that we need to address. Medical cannabis is a part of it, and it's just not even medical cannabis, it's recreational cannabis. It's all of it because people live in federal housing.
Absolutely. So in answer to the person's question, technically, no. I mean, the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program doesn't check when you apply with it, and I don't think they tell the HUD people that you've applied. But if it comes to light, HUD can make you give up your card. Certainly, they don't allow folks to have their medical marijuana or cannabis on the premises. They don't let folks medicate. They certainly don't let you grow in the federal housing there. So there is a big risk of the folks finding out and making you give up your card and therefore wasting your monies that it took you to get them in the first place. We've had that case happen a number of times. So that's the advice on that. It is a terrible choice for folks. It's the same as folks having to choose between cannabis and opiates. And that's another issue that's going on. Doctors are making their patients make that choice. Now recently, Good Samaritan is taking that stance and is putting the patients going through their services, their facility. And so there's going to be a protest on that. It's happening October 9th. That's a Wednesday. It's at 1 p.m. In Corvallis, at Good Samaritans in Corvallis. So folks, visit mercycenters.org for the exact address, more contact info, and more about the issue of concurrent use of opiates and medical cannabis here.
They have all of those things happening right now, and all the different bills going on about cannabis right now. And you know what? All we're saying is there's some people out there that are hurting, that are in the hospital, that didn't know about no cannabis was an option. Nobody told them about cannabis being an option, and that, oh yeah, it's really helping others. I mean, you hear about it on TV with the children, you're hearing about it on TV with the adults, and all over, and it's just not in the United States. All these, the best thing this past weekend at the doctor's office, the doctor's notebook that weekly they get or monthly says about Crohn's. Crohn's is over 50, 90%. Do you remember, was it 50 or 90? A lot of people totally got relief from cannabis. And this is a very scientific study that they did with all this control group. And you know what? That is, if you're the one with Crohn's and you're the one that's been taking all the pills and suffering all the side effects and then having to take pills for those side effects, to have more side effects for those pills, believe me, if you found out you could use cannabis and rub it on and eat it and maybe vaporize it or smoke it, you would be
I think
so
in the case
happy.
of Crohn's, there would be tea or even a tincture, something
All
like
of them.
that.
Yep.
Crohn's, IBS, COPD, all these tracheal situations and conditions that currently folks try to say, prohibitionists, try to say that cannabis causes. Well, cannabis, in fact, is used positively to help with all these conditions. Even asthma is helped by cannabis properly applied.
Well, and that's what we're finding out at ourselves, all the people with all these different things going on and the things they're using and the things they're sharing with us. And you know, do you need some help? Would you like to help some people? Come by the Mercy Center. That's what we're doing. If you got a story you'd like to talk about, let us know, because we'll bring you on the show and we'll talk about it. There's so many things going on right now. People are feeling more comfortable. Like the lady earlier, she didn't even want to get on the phone and talk over I know what's going on,
Right,
you guys.
sure.
People are scared, and I understand. But she had a question and she wanted to know about her federal housing. Very important. We're sensitive to all of it, you guys. Everybody we deal with every day, they work for the state, they work for this government, that government, they work for everything, they live everywhere. They're just trying to have a life, and they're trying to deal with this condition and dealing with this condition. And oh yeah, now I found out I can use cannabis. Wow, what a blessing. And if you don't know yourself that has the issue, maybe you have somebody that you know has the issue, and you need to help, share it with them. Tell them about cannabis. See if they know anything, because you know what? It's that important that we see it every day at our office. People are really going, you know what? This is it. I've got to do something. I've got to do something. My doctor told me, my kids told me, whatever. It doesn't matter who told them, but they're finding out about cannabis. And look at all the things that are happening, not just in the state of Oregon, but in all the states.
And we are having, speaking of the things that are happening here in Oregon, a couple of items, news items to share with folks. The biggest news, I suppose, is the fee structure, changes to the fees here in Oregon, and that is that folks on food stamps, or SNAP as it's referred to, instead of $100 to register or renew, that's going to be $60 per annum. And for folks on OHP, before you were paying $100, and now you'll be paying $50 for yours. And it was also clarified that to replace your OMMP card, the replacement fee is $100 normally, but if you paid $20 for it under SSI, then you'll be that's what you'll be paying for your replacement. Unfortunately, they still have the heinous $50 grower's fee, even if you have the $20 SSI charge. And we don't know what's going to happen with the replacement fee in regards to SNAP and OHP now. They didn't specify that it's $50 and $60 for replacement for OHP and SNAP, similar to how it is for SSI. But we shall pursue that and see if we can get a clarification. Hopefully the common sense will rule on that, but we shall see. Of course, we should get rid of these ridiculous fees or even having to get a card, really. We should get legalization in this state and get all the benefits from that, which would include but not limit us to those that be gained from hemp itself. And there's even a move on in the light of the federal statement about letting the states, manage themselves on the marijuana issue. A lot of talk about planting some hemp crops here in Oregon and get that particular industry going. We hope that follows through, and we'll keep folks posted on it, particularly what they can do to help such efforts. However, in the meantime, in addition to the fee structure changes that's has taken effect October 1st here in Oregon, on January 1st, PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is going to be added to the qualifying list of qualifying conditions for registering with the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, or the OMMP, as it's referred to. Furthermore, in March of 2014, it's expected that the rules for medical marijuana facilities, or MMFs as they're called, will go into effect then. And so we'll have what's referred to as dispensaries here in Oregon soon as well.
Well, and if you're one of those people that have the PTSD, that you're wondering, how am I going to get the card? Where am I going to go? Who's going to sign my card? It's all legal. Now what am I going to do? You just need to get your cards in order. The first thing is get those records together that show you've been having this PTSD over this past year, this past 3 years. Whatever, you can get 3 records in 3 years or 3 records in the past year. All of it just shows your PTSD. All of it shows what's been going on, and those are called chart notes. When you get those chart notes together and go to see the doctor, then she's going to sign. And that's what everybody really wants, is somebody to sign for them. Well, we can help you with that. If you need help, do what I was just telling you about, getting your records together. And you can do that today, because come at the end of the year, you'll be ready. And if you're ready, then you got one less thing you got to do. And that is what we as a group try to help people do, because you got time right now. It ain't like you're so forced to get it done tomorrow. You got between now to the first year. And that's no pressure. You know what you're needing, you know what you got, a number of ways to try and get it, whether you have them faxed, whether you have them mailed, whether you pick them up. Mm-hmm. This is what it allows patients. You guys take these options. They're options for people. You can't drive, you don't have to drive. Have them mailed. Have them mailed to you. Tell them you're putting a record together because you're traveling. There's so many things you can do to get your records and make things like this happen. And if it ain't PTSD, maybe it's the pain issue, maybe it's the nausea issue, maybe you have seizures. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got all these conditions that they're using cannabis for that they're not saying nothing about. And now it's time to come out and say, you know what, I can do this. There's really getting recognition for these things like PTSD. Look how many years it's taken before anybody would even acknowledge that some cannabis might help a psychological issue. Mm-hmm. This is monumental in our state. Other states, they already recognize that, you know what, if the doctor says it's helping you, it doesn't matter what the condition is, it helps you, then they can do that. Mm-hmm. It's the doctor is the one who has to say, yes, I think it might help this patient, and in doing so, it's legal. That's the way it should be. Not really. If we got to do it like that, I guess, but.
Right. Well, ideally, it would be like California and Washington State. The doctor can say, they have a basic list, but if the doctor feels that there's some condition that's outside that list, if their patient would benefit from it, they're authorized to okay their patient for medical cannabis for that condition. And that's the way it should be here in Oregon. but it's going to take a fight to get that, I'm afraid. So that's why folks need to get involved with it, with the process, how it affects it, and especially, you know, registering, voting, things of that nature, certainly. But if you're, the main thing is if you are certain as to your records, whether or not they're going to qualify, bring them on down to the Mercy Center. We'll vet them for you and let you know if you need to get some more information and the best ways to do that. If we need to get you to a particular clinic or emergency room care even to get the proper documentation, then we'll help research that and steer you on the right path for that. But main thing is for you to make contact with us, get the information that you have, and we can look it over and help you to get your card to qualify with the program. There may be other conditions that you have that are qualifying as well. We were talking the other day about all the ways that pain is involved with medical cannabis, all the things that cause pain, all the different types of pain and things like that. This was actually in discussion in relation to the use of opiates, the use of other painkillers for this, and used in conjunction with cannabis. They have a lot more manageable doses. I mean, it's bizarre that there's an issue of cannabis with opiates, because cannabis typically reduces the amount of opiates that folks end up taking, and I'm not sure how that's a bad thing.
Well, that's the things that we know as a group of patients who deal with others every day on things like this. Mm-hmm. And how important is it? Well, it's important because I need to tell you that maybe you know somebody that isn't using it, that could use it, that when we get this bad, when these conditions take over our lives, when it's all that, man, it is, we need to tell somebody. We ourselves need to take the time and say, you know what? I need to try this. I need to try some of these candies, some of these pancakes, some toast with some butter on it, with a little butter in my oatmeal. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's so many ways you can check this out, eating a cookie, and then go, wow, you know what? It might really help if I try and do this for a while, because, you know, I heard it and I can't do it just once. You got to do it for like a week. Then you can tell what kind of good effects you're getting. If you do a good week of cannabis and you're eating it at night, you're getting good sleep. You wake up, you have an appetite. Oh, I've never had an appetite before. Well, there you go. You're getting sleep, and now you have an appetite. Now you have more energy for the day. Everybody goes, well, all I do is sleep, and I can't do anything, and I'm in pain. Well, you know what? Watch, when you start eating, and now you're getting some sleep, and now you're going to want to get up and you're going to want to do things, and you want to get things done because there's so much to do, and I could never do it before. Now I can actually get up and walk and move, and I'm not sick, and I can go. Those are the things that cannabis does that we see on a daily basis, and that people out there need to know, man, if that's you, check it out, come by, talk to us, talk to everybody's a patient at the office, they're all volunteers. And you know what? Share it with somebody. Do it yourself. Make sure that this is hope, because everybody says, oh, there's no hope for me. I can't do this, I can't do that, no hope, I've ate everything, I've done everything. If you haven't done cannabis or tried it, then what a blessing that you got coming to you with cannabis, and everybody says the same thing. What a blessing. How come nobody's talking about it? How come nobody's sharing it? How come? Well, because they're going to make money on it. The drug companies are going to make every kind of pill, every kind of aerosol, every kind of everything, and then they're going to sell it to us. And of course, we'll buy it because that's what we do. We're consumers.
Hopefully the MMFs, or medical marijuana facilities, will give us alternative to that. Folks will be able to make cookies, aerosols, teas, tinctures, oils, and take them to the facilities and see to it they get disseminated to cardholders, put out there, so folks can take their excess in whatever form and on. And if you're thinking about setting up an MMF, that's another thing that we're working on. So come on by the office and talk about if you have questions, comments on that. Give us a call. And Wednesday night meeting is a good time and place. Also, we do matching of patients and growers there and share with them other information and resources like those that you'll need for the MMF, such as insurance. That's a news item to let folks know about. Used to be that you couldn't get insurance, basic insurance, liability, casualty for your garden. You know, if it got robbed, an accident happened to it, you were lost. There wasn't any real coverage for insurance. Basic insurance companies won't cover that. But now there's some insurance available, not just for that, but for your crop failure, or even for if you get raided. There's an insurance policy for that available now. Much less for when these, for if you're a group, you've got a cooperative, and there's a bunch there, and when these dispensaries come online, Agent 420 is going to be able to help folks with that now. So an exciting resource, an option now for folks available. We definitely feel good about sharing that with folks, letting them know.
Well, and if you know somebody that needs that kind of help, let them know. I mean, just get it out there. Agent 420 is out to help patients, to help people that are needing these kind of coverages, because that's what we're doing, and it deals with cannabis. Cannabis is something that's helping so many people, and so many people are benefiting from it. And by doing this show, we're able to share. You know, there's a lot of people out there in the hospital tonight watching, and they're there because they're messed up and they need some help, and nobody's telling them about cannabis.
Well, except for a few. So a shout out to the nurses who are talking it up and helping folks find their way to us and to the doctor. A shout out to the doctors who've been getting their patients, their records, recommending them to us. We had a gal come in just the other day. She's 94. Her doctor recommended her to us. She's got asthma, so we got to work with the vaporizing.
You wouldn't believe it, and she's can't say enough about how good. So that's the kind of things we're doing. If you need the help, it don't matter what age you are. Don't think you're too old. There's nobody can say you're too old. You're not too old. If you can get to the office and you get some help, we'll get you in the door. And
you're not too young either. I mean, this nonsense about you have to be debilitating, it has to be terminal, something like that. Prohibitionist nonsense that cannabis is only for the disabled or something like that. No, it's for quality of life. You know, it's for especially our young folks that have served. They're veterans. You know, they've worked as emergency people or in trauma. They've been through abusive, traumatic situations and stuff like that. Excuse me.
Well, people are trying to say, hey, I just need some help. Can somebody help me? Come on by.
Find out more. Give us a call. Stop on by the place. Catch up with us on the web. Or see us here next time on Mercy TV Live. Every Friday, 7:30. Also, other shows on Channel 23. My Garden, Mercy TV Monthly, and more.
Yes. Thank you, Perry, for all you do.
Yeah, special thanks, CCTV, our crew, and our sponsors for making the show happen.
Yes.
Thank you for stopping by. Thanks to our callers. And we'll see everybody next time here on Mercy TV Live. Sonny?
Hey.
Toodles.
You know.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.